Before we dive into today's episode, we want to provide a quick discretion notice. Spirits with Crime is a podcast that explores true crime and paranormal stories, often delving into unsettling and sometimes disturbing subject matter. The content we discuss may not be suitable for all audiences, and listener discretion is advised.
While we strive to present these stories with respect and sensitivity, we understand that they may evoke strong emotions or discomfort. We encourage you to care for your well-being and pause or skip any segments that you find distressing.
Many of the topics we discuss are based on real-life events, and we make every effort to provide accurate information. However, due to the nature of the subjects, details may vary or be subject to differing interpretations. We encourage further research and exploration for a comprehensive understanding of the stories we present.
Lastly, our themed cocktails are meant to enhance the overall experience and provide a unique connection to the episode's topic. We remind you to drink responsibly and be aware of your own limits. Never drink and drive. Enjoy the episode.
Action. I know you see. Okay. Hello, spooky people. I'm gonna start over. Hello, spooky people. We're your hosts, Carly
And Danny.
For once, I went first.
Yes. It's like you're not scared anymore or something.
Well, I've done this a few times.
Yeah, only like 32 times.
I know, seriously. It's a lot of pressure. Anyways, last week we covered the story about the haunting of Emily Rose. It was a pretty heavy, tragic story. It went upside down.
Oh,
Okay.
that'll fix.
It was a pretty heavy, tragic story.
Yes, it
And
was.
I think my fellow podcast mate, Danny, did an incredible job
Wow.
of doing it.
Thank you.
I really do. I was spooked and I was sad, so I felt like it was great.
Well,
I mean, it was a sad story, so...
yeah, I didn't know anything about it. I thought her name was actually Emily Rose, and that was false. And also I didn't know that she was diagnosed with epilepsy or depression or anything.
I did not know that either.
So,
Otherwise, I would have done that topic.
yeah. Yep. Carly suggested it to me, and I was like, oh yeah, like that sounds like an interesting topic, because the whole movie came out.
Turns out she's the same mental illnesses as me.
Just about.
She don't got BPD though. Moving on.
I don't know, maybe she did.
What was it, like a few weeks earlier, we covered the topic of mermaids.
Mm-hmm.
Danny did a great job of talking about the mermaids. I was very curious about the mermaid genitalia, but whatever, and reproductive systems.
Well, I promised you a diagram and I never followed up.
That's actually true. I need a diagram.
So, maybe you can ask Jess to do that. She said
No.
she'd do all that.
No, I want you to do a diagram.
I don't think I want to.
I don't care if you don't want to. You'd promised me one.
Okay. How about on my crochet mermaid that I did, I just crocheted
You
little
add a vagina? Oh my god! Maybe. Anyways.
Just for you.
Perfect. So since we did the mermaids a couple weeks ago, now we're going to cover pirates. I personally had a very hard time doing the research on this because the whole time it kind of sounded like a history lesson, and I fucking hate history. So I made it a little more interesting, but yeah, I made it a little more interesting because I talked about like real world stuff. It's just really hard to talk about pirates without talking about the Golden Age, because that's when they came up. So it's like, oh shit. But I compare it because here. I personally am a huge fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean. I love it. I have watched all of them like 6 times. I love those movies. Captain Jack Sparrow is Daddy, and Johnny Depp is Daddy. Everything about him, I love him. Especially Captain Jack Sparrow. Captain Jack Sparrow was sexy. I'm sorry. He was. He was dirty and gross, but he was hot.
Well,
you didn't think he was hot?
No, I did.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. See? He was hot. He was a dirty, gross pirate, but he was hot as fuck.
You will never convince me that Johnny Depp is not attractive.
Oh, me too.
Never.
He's attractive as shit. Even this
Always.
day.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree.
He has been attractive since he was like 18.
That's true.
I can't say younger because that's illegal.
I don't... Was he in anything?
I don't know, but I have no idea. But I honestly don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know the earliest age that I noticed him, but what I do know is that that's a fucking attractive man.
Wasn't he in Sleepy Hollow?
I've never seen that.
Really? I think that was where I saw him first, if he was in that movie. And then Sweeney Todd. And he sings in that movie.
I never watched Sweeney Todd.
You wouldn't like it.
You're a musical gal.
But it's like a horror musical.
No, I can't do musicals.
He kills people.
The only musical I can do is Enchanted, and that's it. And that's not a musical.
That's just a Disney movie.
Yeah, but they sing. What are you doing?
Why is it always while we
Why are you being a weirdo?
What are you talking about?
Why are you being a weirdo and looking at us and then like backing up like that?
I thought you guys were already done recording.
That was with
We
Jess.
just started.
Oh. I thought the first thing was like...
Babe, I told you we just started. Babe, we don't have a lot of time on this camera, so go.
Right here, babe.
I love you, but go. No,
Right here.
go
Really
please.
quick.
No. We don't have time on this camera. Rafa, I'm serious. Okay, bring it back to me right now.
Okay, well...
No. Don't go in that room. Give it back to me right now.
Right there.
No, I'm not kidding. Give it back to me right now. Thank you.
No, you stay in there.
All right. Go in. Oh my. Rafa, are you going in the game room or not?
Yeah, but
Can you like go in there right now? We don't have a lot of time. All right.
Yeesh.
Finally, now that my rude boyfriend is done interrupting.
Perfect time.
I know. Literally. All right. Where were we?
Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah. Johnny Depp. Sexy as fuck. No one can change my opinion. Anyways. Oh yeah. I'm a huge fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean. I didn't know much about it from like the real world. I had no idea it had anything to do with it. Did you?
With the real world?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the real world pirates.
Yeah.
But like it's not
With
just
the trading and everything, yeah.
No. Like Johnny Depp, like the character specifically.
Oh, like Captain Jack Sparrow?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. No.
I know Captain Barbados, yeah.
Yeah, but even him, it was based on multiple pirates. So, I mean, Jack Sparrow is based on like 7 different pirates. Like, it's like none of them are exactly to the T.
Is the Black Pearl real?
The Pearl was real, but
Why not the Black Pearl?
because they're racist.
Rude.
We're cutting that out. So, as I was researching, I realized that those movies are based on real pirates. I mean, obviously it's not like one pirate is based on this person, which I thought in the beginning, but then I did my research and no. they were based on like real pirates in the Caribbean and the Indian Ocean, like all these different places.
Oh,
So it wasn't just the Caribbean.
okay.
I'd also like to talk about the cocktail of the week, the cow, if you will. Hold on, I gotta sneeze.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Should we grab the bottle? I left it over there.
I mean,
Should I grab it?
yeah, you should grab it. Hurry! We don't got a lot of time. Come into your cocoon. Use the whole bit because I'm talking. I'd also like to talk about the cocktail of the week, or the cow. We use a special rum called, I don't know how to, I think it's Bumbu or Bumbu.
I have no idea.
Bumba? I don't know. Whatever it is. It was originally made in the Barbados,
Ooh.
the original rum island. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. Well, you learn something new every day.
We
There
got
are-
the XO one because
Mhm.
it's cooler.
That's exactly. Oh my God, bitch! You took my line. There are a few other types of this rum available. One being like a creme one, like an
Yeah.
Irish whatever.
Mhm.
But we decided to purchase the Bumbu, whatever XO bottle because it looked cooler. Thanks for stealing my line. It's distilled and aged in Panama and has the aromas of toffee, toasted oak, vanilla, orange, peppery spice, and a hint of coffee. Did you taste any of that in the drink?
Well, the pineapple kind of overwhelmed it
That's
a
true.
little bit. But I also think I'm slightly allergic to pineapple, so
Oh, I remember that. Why would you even drink it then? Oh my God.
it doesn't close my throat up or anything. It just makes my tongue tingle.
For the vine.
Did it for the gram.
All right. The groundwater in Barbados is filtered like insane.
Groundwater?
The groundwater in Barbados is filtered insanely well, and
Oh.
so it's like
That's interesting.
super pure, like one of the purest waters ever, and that's
Oh.
in every bottle.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm gonna attach the link to all of our posts for this website for the rum. We personally didn't use the recipe from the website because there seemed to be very complicated ingredients that we could not find.
There's a bunch of weird stuff on
And
there.
it's in weird languages, so I'm not really sure. But there are a ton on there if you want to check it out. So now we're going to get into our topic. Going into the pirates' history. Pretty boring, but we're going to go into it.
Okay.
In case you didn't know, pirates are defined as people who attack and rob ships at sea. The
Okay.
word pirate was first used in 140 BC by the Roman historian Polybius.
I thought you were going to say Polly D. I was like,
The Roman historian Polly D. DJ Polly D. Anyways, then in 100 AD, I honestly don't know what AD, BC, or any of that means. Do you?
I cannot
Okay.
describe it to you right now.
Alright. Well, in 100 AD, the Greek philosopher Plutarch wrote about them, giving them the first real proper definition.
Isn't it before Christ?
Pirates have been around for, I don't know.
After death? I don't know.
They're everywhere, all around. There's different times and different things on every website. I don't know 100% when they first started, because obviously there wasn't records of when they first started, but the record of when they first started was when Plutarch wrote about them.
Okay.
Described them as people who attack without legal authority, not only ships, but maritime cities.
Oh. Okay.
Then it was
Like
used...
Tortuga.
Yes.
Okay.
Then it was used in the book The Odyssey.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The word pirate is said to be a synonym to the following words, although they do have slight differences. Buccaneer, is that Corsoir or Corsair? Corsair, Sea Rogue, and a freebooter. I'm not gonna go into all that because it's really boring.
Okay.
I don't want to bore all y'all and Danny, so now we're gonna move on to the golden age of piracy. Even this is boring. So, it occurred between 1690 and 1730. Historians debate on when the actual years were because, it happened such a fucking long time ago. We don't know. It was a time when robbery on the high seas and at colonial ports reached in a really high level.
From just pirates in general, or just in general?
I don't know, but
Okay.
oh yeah, mainly referred to the pirates.
Oh, okay.
Who worked in the... Is it Caribbean or Caribbean? Because it doesn't sound right if you say the Pirates of the Caribbean. It doesn't. But I feel weird saying they worked in the...
Hey, Siri.
No, Siri's always wrong.
How do you pronounce Caribbean?
Bitch, Siri can't pronounce my own fucking street right.
How do you pronounce Caribbean correctly? Excuse me. I wasn't asking you a different
I'm
question.
gonna go with Caribbean unless I'm talking about the movie.
No, it's Caribbean.
But Pirates of the Caribbean?
Pirates
Yeah.
of the Caribbean.
The Bean.
Hold on.
But I feel like when you're traveling there, it's called the Caribbean. I don't care that much.
What are
I'm
we
just
saying?
saying,
Huh?
yeah, so moving on.
No.
Caribbean? Okay, but Siri's never right. It can't pronounce my own fucking
It's not
street
Siri,
right.
it's Google.
Really? Make Google
Do you want
say
it
my street
Do you
name.
want it slow?
You're such a bitch.
What?
Moving on.
Hold on.
Make Google say Clarendon.
Okay.
You know how to spell my street, right?
Yes.
Make Google say that.
Okay.
Let's see what it says.
Okay. Why are you bringing up fucking YouTube?
You hear it?
Clarendon.
Okay, that was right. Alright, so Caribbean? Okay, but Pirates of the Caribbean sounds fucking weird. So I'm gonna say it how I say it. We're gonna move on.
Pirates of the Caribbean?
It's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Says who?
Me.
Okay.
So, this mainly referred to the pirates who worked in the Caribbean. The east coast of America, the eastern Atlantic, and the Indian Ocean. Most historians don't include the period of the buccaneers when discussing the golden age of piracy. I wrote this whole thing about buccaneers, but the thing is that it kind of goes into the... Okay, so...
I want to know.
Okay. Buccaneers. They're different than pirates. They were privateers who attacked enemies of their state, mainly Spain, in the Caribbean and on the American coast throughout the 17th century. They were originally hunters, then they were seamen, then they were soldiers. They successfully attacked Spanish ports, but very rarely captured treasure ships at sea, which is very different than the pirates.
So they were just attacking people and they didn't care about the treasure?
Because they
didn't care about stealing
were
riches.
just attacking Spain.
They were just rude as hell.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
But it gets worse. When more colonial powers in the Americas began to invest more to defend their colonies, the opportunities for buccaneers for official employment decreased majorly, and so they turned to piracy. Yeah, that's where it went. Where any ship or port of whatever nationality was considered a target. Not just Spain now. The European nations had very few fighting ships in this part of the world, so to protect their new colonies, So to protect their new colonies from Spanish attack, they recruited the buccaneers.
Interesting.
They were recruited for defense and given ships to ferry them on land where they could use their skills with muskets. They were willing since they had no other employment at the time. So by the mid-17th century, the buccaneers were no longer just hunters, and their numbers grew a lot. They now consisted of European soldiers of fortune, disgruntled mariners, failed farmers, and escaped indentured servants, and slaves.
Oh, so everybody, pretty much.
Everybody that was rejected.
Yeah.
So, in the later years of the 17th century, Spain stopped being a common enemy because they began to build their defense more. So, now England, France, and the Netherlands were fighting. And the buccaneers began to fight each other. Because it became increasingly lawless.
Ooh, so like the Wild West, but
in the seas. The end of the 9 Years' War and the Peace of Ryswick in 1697 between France, Spain, England, and the Netherlands meant the buccaneers couldn't be employed anymore in the Caribbean. So the buccaneers began to use their skills to live a life of piracy, attacking any ship or place they wanted even more. This is where the golden age of piracy began.
With the Buccaneers.
Now we're going to move on to the golden age of piracy.
Okay.
These pirates were considered to be only in a different... These pirates were considered to be only in a different area geographically, which was both sides of the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, and off the coast of West Africa. The majority of pirates in the Golden Age were British or American, but there were also pirates from many different nationalities, Dutch, French, also African, like all that.
You know what's weird?
What?
Is even though they had English accents in the movies, whenever I think of pirate, I never think of them with accents, with English accents. Isn't that weird?
I always think of them with accents.
I always think of them with an American
Straight
accent.
American?
Yes.
What the hell?
I don't know why.
What?
I don't know what's wrong with me.
They're not American.
I think about Captain Jack Sparrow, and then every other pirate is just straight American accent.
What? No.
I don't know why.
Oh my god.
Anyway. Do you guys think of them with
Yes.
with English accents?
Yes.
All of them?
They all have accents.
Every single pirate
Yes.
that you ever think of.
Yes.
Blackbeard?
Yes.
Do you imagine him with an English
Have you
accent?
ever seen the Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yes.
They all have accents.
Well, Calypso doesn't have an English accent.
It has an accent.
So, American
They all
is an
have
accent.
They all have accents. They do.
We also have accents.
No, Calypso is different. Anyways, moving on to the famous captains. While some pirates that were just part of the crew became famous, the most famous ones were the captains.
I wonder why.
There was Bartholomew Roberts,
Wow.
aka Black Bart Roberts.
What?
Yes. He was famous for wearing a scarlet silk coat, matching waistcoat, and a diamond necklace.
He sounds like a pimp.
He was a Welsh pirate.
Well.
He was pronounced the most successful pirate of the Golden Age.
Oh.
Sounds about right. If you're a pimp, you're pretty successful. So, he took over 470 prize ships.
Wow.
He raided ships off the Americas and the West African coast between 1719 and 1722. That's it.
Really?
470.
Jesus.
He's noted for creating his own pirate code
Ooh.
and adopting the early skull and like bones. Yeah.
Wow.
He's known for that. He is like OG.
I love that for him.
Mm-hmm. He was originally born with the name John Roberts, which is not threatening.
No, but it's better than Black Bart.
It's a lot better than Bartholomew.
Also,
That's what he changed his name to.
Why?
No clue. But in 1722, Roberts was attempting to escape from an enemy ship attack by the Royal Navy. But he failed, was shot in the throat, and killed. Many consider his death to be the end of the golden age of piracy.
Oh my god.
Now we're moving on to Blackbeard, aka Edward Thatch.
Somehow I knew that, and it still surprised me.
He wore black ribbons in his beard, carried 6 pistols,
Wow.
and lit fuses in his hat when he went to battle.
What?
Yes, literally, like,
I
lit.
went from, oh wow, cute. Anime girl, woo, to
No.
lighting fires on his
And
head.
having 6 pistols. No, he literally, like, would light them. Like,
Oh,
I'm not
like
kidding.
off of his head, or he would
No,
light
like,
them and put
like
them on
they
his
were on his head.
Oh, like on his
Actually, that's a really good point.
like
I
a
don't know.
unicorn?
Maybe not. I don't know. That's actually a good
That's
point.
so
Maybe
weird.
he didn't do it that way. I don't know. I didn't think of it that way.
I would have just, like, he put them in his hat, but still, why
It
would
said
you do
lit
that?
fuses in his hat when he went to battle.
Well, when did he take them off?
I don't know.
Where did they explode? He'd just chuck them at people?
Who knows?
It's ballsy.
Very ballsy. But
For a
It
man
was
with
Blackbeard.
ribbons in his beard.
have you seen Pirates of the Caribbean? Blackbeard was gnarly.
Was he in that movie?
Yeah.
Which one?
Maybe not. Yes,
No.
he was. Blackbeard was in it for sure.
Are you sure? I think you're thinking of Captain Barbados.
No, I know who Captain Barbados is.
In the
Blackbeard,
other
Pirates of the
movies?
Caribbean.
Hold on.
Told you, motherfucker. Blackbeard.
Oh,
Mhm.
he was in the later ones. The 4th one.
Well, Blackbeard
Oh,
was in
so
there.
late in there.
Anyways, he was in it.
Here you go.
He was an English pirate who operated around the West Indies, eastern coast of Britain's North American colonies. He was killed by the Royal Navy by a Lieutenant Maynard during battle after shot 5 times and cut over 20 times. Maynard suspended Thatch's head on the bows for his reward on his ship.
And they call the pirates the savages.
Mm-hmm. Now we're going on to John Rackham.
I don't
AKA
understand the, like, I know it's supposed to threaten other people, like a warning, like don't come over here because we'll decapitate you, but
No,
why?
they were just as brutal. The British Army, the Royal Navy, was just as brutal. I'm gonna be real here.
But that's like a thing that people would do, like royalty, like the legend of Queen Mary or you know Bloody Mary or whatever. They said that first of all she would bathe in blood. Second of all, she was said to put heads of people she killed like all over her lawn of her cat. Like, why is that a thing?
Do you remember in the Pirates of the Caribbean that display of the dead?
Yeah.
That was partly real.
Ew. What a disease.
Disgusting. Now we're moving on to John Rackham, aka Calico Jack, who's an English pirate captain operating in Bahamas and Cuba. His nickname came from the calico clothing he wore.
Oh.
He was
Like-
most known for having, what?
Like the cat?
I don't know.
Like,
All I heard is calico, and I thought you would know. So
okay.
he's most known for having the very first female crew members, one being his lover, Anne Bonny.
Oh.
Anne and John had had an affair when she was married to a sailor. Her husband found out and brought her to the governor, who had her whipped for adultery.
Is this supposed to be Elizabeth? Because it sounds like her.
Partly. No, I'll tell you later.
Oh, okay.
John offered to buy Anne in divorce by purchase, which I had no idea that was a thing.
What?
I had no idea that was a thing.
Someone can buy you and you're divorced suddenly?
I don't know.
That would
It says
suck.
because he liked her.
Well,
But the husband refused.
well, at least he can refuse. Could you imagine?
Okay, but imagine us being able to be bought and only our husbands could tell us. That's fucked up. Anyways, Anne ran away with John and they escaped to sea.
Wait a second.
Yes.
Was he buying her out of courtesy then?
No, he liked her.
Yeah, but
He
she
loved
she
her.
ran away with him though.
Yes, because
Yeah, so he
her
was
husband refused.
so he's like, let me get you out of this marriage.
Yes.
So you can come. Yeah, so
And
it
then
was a courtesy.
and then the husband was like, no. So
Yeah,
then
so
they
she
ran away.
left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then Anne got pregnant and went to Cuba to have her kid.
Sounds like a move.
Mm-hmm. In 1720, the Bahamian governor issued a warrant for John and his new crew of pirates. This warrant went public. A pirate hunter went after them, destroyed John's ship, and had the men put ashore, arrested, then hanged them.
Well, that's rude.
They displayed his body at the main entrance of Port Royal.
Why?
And we have Edward England.
Could you imagine if we still did that?
What do you mean, though?
Got you.
So, in 1720, the Bahamian, I don't know if it's Bahamian, I don't know. Because when I think of Bohemian, I just think of that, like, style and
Bohemian
shit.
Rhapsody?
Oh, or that.
Oh.
Is this the real life?
Is this just fantasy?
Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Alright. The Bohemian governor issued a warrant for John and his new crew of pirates. Once the warrant went public, a pirate hunter went after them, destroyed John's ship, had the men put ashore, and arrested them and hanged them. Displayed his body at the main entrance of Port Royal. Yeah. Now we have Edward England. He was an Irish pirate. He sailed the Pearl,
Just the Pearl.
which he renamed the Royal James. And then the Fancy. No wonder they fucking called it, in Pirates of the Caribbean, no wonder they fucking called it the Black Pearl. Because the Fancy and the Royal James sound stupid.
The Royal James.
And then the Fancy. That sounds stupid as fuck.
Tell me you're a narcissist without telling me.
Straight
you're
up.
a narcissist.
So, he captured a ship and spared a crew member because he was known to be nice and, like, merciful, and he was compassionate. One of his crew members resented him for that. And then...
For being nice.
Yes.
You're a nice guy.
Yes. And the only reason why he agreed is because Edward got him drunk.
Oh.
But then he started a vote to stop Edward from being the captain. The new captain marooned Edward and a few crew members that were like loyal to Edward, and he died in 1720 or 1721, likely of tropical. Edward later died in 1720 or 1721, likely of tropical disease.
Well, that's rude.
Yeah, it's rude.
Guess that's what happens when you're a nice pirate.
That's what happens when you're a pirate. You always have the possibility of being marooned.
Well, I guess.
Now we got pirate ships in the Golden Age. The ships that are shown in the films and stuff are not exactly what the ships look like in the Golden Ages. The pirates wanted a ship that was fast, highly maneuverable, and capable of sailing through shallows where other ships couldn't get to.
Sounds
The
about right.
pirates typically went after easy targets, like merchant. Pirates typically went after easy targets, such as merchant vessels that would barely be armed. Sometimes they go after bigger targets due to pride.
Mm.
The most
Don't we all?
yeah, the most notorious and well-known pirates had the largest ships, and that was very important to them. Now we have Captain Kidd. He sailed the Adventure Galley, 287-ton, three-masted ship that could pursue a tiger.
Tiger shark.
Captain Kidd. He sailed the Adventure Galley, 287-ton, three-masted ship that could pursue a target in all conditions.
Mm.
Crewed by over 150 men and had 34 cannons.
Wow.
He was technically a buccaneer, though.
Oh.
Then
Wow.
we're moving on to Edward England again.
He's a faker.
Mm-hmm. He's a fraud. Just like Helen Keller. We're moving on to Edward England. He captured a huge ship he called the Fancy, which we already talked about. That one had 34 cannons and crewed by 180 men. But the flag was the classic Jolly Roger one.
Oh.
Mhm. So it kept going.
I love the Jolly Roger flag.
Mm-hmm. Now we have Blackbeard. He sailed Queen Anne's Revenge,
Mm.
which is the most widely known vessel. He had a crew of at least 300 men, 40 cannons.
Oh.
Moving back to Bartholomew, he sailed the Royal Fortune. It was the most powerful pirate ship of this time. 42 cannons, adapted for speed, captured over 400 ships, which we already talked about. Then we have Captain John Rackham. He sailed the Jolly Roger.
Oh, I was like, that sounds familiar.
No, he sailed the Jolly Roger. The other one had this Jolly Roger
Yeah.
flag. Yeah. He
What was
obviously
His pirate name was Rackham?
Calico Jack.
Oh, okay. Got it.
He obviously had the famous flag of, yeah. So the methods of attack for them. The first weapon pirates used was terror, which was the flag, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
When the flag was up, it warned merchant vessels that there were pirates coming. And the most sensible thing for them to do was not attack. For them to just pretty much be like, all right, pirates are coming, I'm just going to lay here. That's pretty much what they were saying.
Kind of lame.
Yeah, pretty much what they said. Yeah, now we're going to talk about the pirate booty, not the snack. Most pirates...
Snack.
Yeah, it's so
Well,
good.
very unsatisfying, I must say.
Really? I love pirates booty. Oh, I
I
want
always
some
want
now.
more.
I want some now.
It's not like regular popcorn.
Fuck. Okay. Anyways.
We should have got some for this episode.
God damn it, me too. Pirate booty. Most pirates, like in real life, didn't actually hide their treasures. But Captain Kidd said he did. Somewhere in Long Island.
Oh,
But
I
nobody
wasn't expecting that.
but nobody can find it.
Well,
To this day.
maybe they're not looking hard enough.
I mean, I feel like they've looked pretty
Right.
hard. There's a Long
Thinking
Island
like
serial
Captain
killer,
Kidd.
so I think they've looked pretty hard.
Have they? Because it took them a while to catch
That's
him,
true.
too.
That's a good point. So now there's pirate havens. Once the pirates got all their booty, they retreated to their haven. There was a bunch of pirate havens, obviously Tortuga being one of them.
Tortuga.
The Bahamas, Madagascar, all that. They grew into big towns, like as we saw in the Pirates of the Caribbean. Blah, blah, blah. The British government was eventually obliged to act against piracy. by being pressured by like actual merchants, colonists, rulers, all that. So they had to act against it. Then the colonies started to hang pirates instead of just shipping them back to England.
They would just ship them back. Take your pirates back.
Well, before, yeah. Take
them
your
back.
pirates back.
Wouldn't they just come back anyway?
Who knows?
It's like a free trip for them.
Yeah. Let's see.
Okay, so they started to hang them and stuff.
They started to shut down the havens, all that. But before, when they caught a pirate ship, they would give the crew a warning and then hang only the captain. But now they were hanging the whole crew at once. So it was like a whole massacre at once. Now we're moving on to pirates in the 2000s.
Oh.
Yeah. We're going to start. In the 1980s, before the Civil War in Somalia, the government had permitted foreign fishing through the official licensing. And the fishing...
Foreign people could come fish?
Anybody could, pretty
Somalia?
much.
Oh, okay.
The fishing industry had a lot of promise at that time. After the collapse of the government in the Civil War, the Somali Navy disbanded. So now there was no one in that whole area to protect anything. So pirates began to show up again in the 2000s, and they escalated during the war in Somalia from 2006 to 2009. They majorly escalated. People in the government of Somalia were being corrupted. They saw the profit that the pirates were getting from ransom and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And they started to be involved in it. And they would share the profits with the pirates equally.
Would you
Yes.
become corrupt? That was a really quick answer.
Well, yeah. I mean, in the fucking 2000s, I'm living in Somalia and I'm scared that I'm going to be killed by a pirate. Fuck yeah, I'm going to go with them. Hell yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Especially when all the money is from there. Fuck yeah. I will give half of it to the pirates. I don't care. They were making stupid hella money.
Were they stealing from foreigners only, or also from people in Somalia?
Doesn't matter.
Just everyone?
They were stealing and they got half and the pirates got half. So,
Well, alright. Why'd you say it like that?
In 2006, Captain John Hawkins and his crew on the cargo ship called Sheila McDevitt.
McDevitt?
They encountered some pirates in 2006.
Okay.
There was 10 men that were looking suspicious on some weird boat. They told them that they were having engine problems. But at this time, there has been a lot of articles out, so they knew that this was a ruse. So they didn't...
Sounds like a bad car scam.
Yeah. So they didn't stop for them, but... So they didn't stop for them, but they kept going. And then this ship started chasing them. And then they heard radio shit, and they were talking to someone from over there, what they assumed was where they were leading him to, a whole haven of pirates that were waiting. That's what they assumed.
That's scary.
Yes, and it was in this foreign weird language that nobody understood. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Fortunately, they escaped, but
This is why I'm afraid of the ocean.
me too. You fucking kidding me? I'm afraid of the ocean for a lot of reasons.
Now I have another reason.
Ugh. Yeah. But this guy, the captain of the ship that was almost raided, was on the radio with another guy whose ship got completely raided by pirates.
Oh.
So he knew, He knew what the hell was up. So there was a task force that was made to help get rid of the pirates. And after 2011, the pirates kind of like disintegrated.
They were like, meh, that's
Kinda.
enough for me.
But in response, the pirates started taking hostages on land.
Oh, well, that's not great.
This didn't do much, though.
What do you mean?
It didn't do much, and the pirates
No one cared?
still didn't do much better.
Oh.
They're
like, well,
they still dramatically decreased.
we lived through 9/11, so take your hostages.
I don't know if this was before.
Well, it just passed again, so.
Moving on. Oh. We got pirates in 2023. Today, piracy has majorly decreased, but they're still out there. They can be found very often in South and Southeast Asia, South America, the south of the Red Sea. They're still masked and dressed differently than the normal people, and still very aggressive, but obviously not as much as in the fucking 1700s.
What do they wear now?
I don't know. I didn't look that up. And I don't want to go into history, so I'm going to skip all that.
That's fine.
Although they were called pirates, they're very different than the ones we talked about from before. Their speedboats have radars, sonars, and several ways of communication.
Speedboats?
Mm-hmm. Pirates have access to much more deadly weapons, such as machine guns, torpedoes, rocket-propelled grenades, and more. Yes.
Okay.
And the methods of attacking are completely different nowadays, but they do similar actions, such as kidnapping people for ransom, robbing, and murdering. But modern pirates usually only attack, like, small cargo ships. Because, God forbid, they attack a big one, it would be a disaster for them. But
It sounds like the start of a really cheesy, scary movie.
yeah. But if
Like Taken,
but
but on the ocean.
I like Taken. Anyways, if they attacked larger ships, then they would go in there like during the night, and then they would attack later, which is what we see in Pirates of the Caribbean. So now I'm going into the Pirates of the Caribbean movie versus the real pirates. As I stated before, I had no clue that there was actual, like, what is it called? Correspondence of actual pirates versus the movie. I had no idea.
Me neither.
They were all pirates that had ransacked England in the early 1700s. So now we have Jack Sparrow.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yes. He was inspired by a combination of many pirates from the Golden Age, mainly from Calico Jack and John Ward.
Okay.
I'll get into that. So, Calico Jack dressed very well, just as Jack Sparrow. Pirates during this time would often take and wear finery from their victims, which we see Jack Sparrow doing. During the brawl in the tavern at Tortuga in the movie Dead Man's Chest. Also, Calico Jack killed the stereotype of sailing with women, just as Jack Sparrow did.
Oh.
Yes. Now we have Henry Every. Of all the pirates of the Golden Age, Henry Every got the closest to Jack Sparrow's goal of immortality.
What?
He wasn't restricted to the Caribbean, though. He was one of the few pirates that escaped justice, just like Jack Sparrow.
Oh, that's what
Yes,
you mean.
yes.
I was like, Fountain of Youth?
No, I mean,
Immortality?
Jack Sparrow doesn't die, though.
That's true.
Yeah. He made millions of dollars in today's money.
I can believe that.
He evaded the authorities, disappeared, also sailed the Jolly Roger, which is the ship that Jack Sparrow flew in at World's End.
You know who else sails that ship?
Who?
Captain Hook.
I did not know that.
That's the name of his ship.
Oh, I did not know. I
You're
was unaware.
Now you are.
Why, thank you. Now we have Samuel Black Sam Bellamy. He was a buccaneer that Jack Sparrow's looks also partly came from. He had long dark hair that he tied up, and all the other pirates typically had like their wigs. Just like Captain Barbossa on Stranger Tides.
Oh, that's his name. I kept saying Barbados.
No Barbossa. Jack Sparrow began his career in piracy by freeing an entire shipload of enslaved people. Bellamy was very similar. And there were multiple times he had shown mercy and fairness to his victims. Then we have Edward Blackbeard Thatch, which we talked about a little bit. But he appeared as a character in On Stranger Tides movie. But he was very different in real life than his character. He was much more interested in freedom than killing people, just like Sparrow.
Interesting.
Some say that in his final battle, Blackbeard may have not even killed anyone.
Oh.
Which is very similar to Jack Sparrow. Because Jack Sparrow, he killed people, but he was pretty moral, if we're being real here. He could have killed way more.
That's true.
Girl, he could have killed everyone.
He cared about other
He
things.
did. No, he really did. All he cared about was treasure. And that's what we're getting with John Ward.
And rum.
Exactly. Many think that John Ward is the person that inspired Jack Sparrow. Like, the singular person. His nickname was Sparrow because of his obsession with birds. No idea why he was obsessed with them, but he was. He was a notorious drunk, cunning, persuasive, cruel, and he was taken to tomfoolery. Jack Sparrow, to the T.
Sounds familiar.
They both had one goal in mind, to get the buried treasure.
Well.
So I believe that.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Then we have Captain Barbossa. He was the pirate villain in The Curse of the Black Pearl. Bartholomew Black Bart Roberts, he was a Commodore himself. He captured over 400 ships. We already know that. We have William Kidd. He had spurred legend of buried treasure. Just as Barbossa said that there was some in the movie.
Oh, yeah. The cursed one.
And then there was Charles Vane. He was just as ruthless and fearsome as Barbossa. That's part of it. And then Blackbeard inspired Barbossa's classic pirate look.
Oh.
Now we're moving on to actual Blackbeard from the movie.
Okay.
The movie version of Blackbeard isn't much like Edward Thatch, which is the actual Blackbeard. He had more similarities to Charles Vane, who is known for his ruthless and violent actions as captain. Now Elizabeth Swann.
Oh.
She has a lot in common with the two most famous female pirates on Calico Jack's ship, Anne Bonny and Mary Read. Talked about them a little bit earlier, but they developed fearsome reputations, just like Elizabeth Swann did as the Pirate King in At the World's End. Swan in Dead Man's Chest was similar to these two women because she dressed like a male sailor, just as they did. Anne and Mary were captured, but Bonnie escaped and disappeared, probably to raise her child, just as Elizabeth Swann did in the last movie.
I don't even remember the last movie.
She did. Orlando Bloom meets her at the end, and it's like this beautiful thing, right? She's got this kid, Now we're moving on to the Brethren Court. In real life, there was never actually a Brethren Court.
Well, that's boring.
But they did have the Pirates Code.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, Bartholomew Black Bart Roberts established the Pirate Code, and in the movies, you can hear them referring to Bartholomew as making the code.
That's cool.
Isn't that really cool?
Yeah.
You remember Commodore James Norrington?
Yep.
Yep. He was a strong resemblance to the historical figure of Golden Age piracy named Woodes Rogers. He had gone down in history as the most famous pirate hunter of all time.
Well, he did a shitty job of the movies.
Well, like Norrington, Rogers made it his goal to exterminate the threat of piracy from the Caribbean and the world.
Fair enough.
He also had a fall from grace, just like Norrington did. But, yeah. And that's all I got.
Interesting.
I feel like that was a very historical thing, and I really, really hated that it had to be historical. I really hated that it had to be historical because I fucking hate history. But it was honestly really hard to find interesting facts, and I did my best, so.
I thought it was interesting. I once did research on pirates because I wanted to write a fiction about Captain Hook. And he, I think, is also based off of, like, Blackbeard and the Jolly Roger situation, so.
The Jolly Roger.
A lot of those
I feel like
names
the
sound
Jolly
familiar.
Roger is so big, like, everywhere.
Oh, it is, yeah, yeah. That's literally what Captain Hook's ship is
Yeah,
called.
I mean, it's the
As
fucking
well.
Jolly Roger, dude.
Well, no, it
That's
makes sense.
also where the whole flag came from.
Yeah.
This was the fucking 1700s, dude.
I wonder why they call it the Jolly Roger.
No clue. But they call it that.
Well, I would like to know
Bumbu.
Bumbu. What would your pirate name be?
Captain Pussy.
Okay. And everyone would think you're a lesbian.
Oh, you're right. I could do something better.
Okay. What's your pirate name?
You go first.
Well, now I have to think.
Well, I thought you already thought, and that's why you asked me.
No, you're the namer. That's why I asked
I
you.
know, but what am I supposed to call myself? Craig? That's the only names I can come up with. I am not Captain Craig.
CC.
Oh,
Carley.
No. I would be Gertrude Memphis.
Why?
Because who forgets that name? Would you forget a bitch named Gertrude Memphis? Because I wouldn't.
I guess not.
That's probably why he named himself Bartholomew. Because no one's gonna remember, what is his name? John or some stupid shit? No one's gonna remember that, but people will remember Bartholomew. People will remember Gertrude Memphis, but no one's gonna remember Carley.
Well, I guess that's fair.
Okay, so what's yours?
Well, now I feel like it has to be Captain Bumbu.
Oh, that's really good.
Because
Damn
it
it.
has bum in it.
Okay, but Bumbu something. You have to have another word. You can't just be Captain Bumbu.
Why not?
No, you gotta be like Bumbu bitch. Or like
Why can't it just be Bumbu?
Bumbu poo poo.
Like Calypso.
No.
What if I wanna be
Bumbu Johnson.
No. Not ever associating myself with that last name.
Me neither, that was ugly.
Captain Bumbu.
Sounds so familiar. Sounds like a very familiar white man that used to live here.
Yeah, it sounds like a narcissist.
Yeah, it does. Sounds like a narcissist that moved back with his mommy in Texas.
And still gets his mail here.
Still gets his mail here, by the way. I'm not going to exploit us here.
If you're listening, your tags are here.
If you're listening, you owe $2,000 to the government.
If you're listening, we're trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
We're trying to reach you. Fuck. Okay.
Well, my name is Captain Bumbu Womack.
No, you gotta be more original than that.
Why? That is original.
Captain Bumbu. Hold on. Captain Bumbu Turd.
No.
Why?
Captain Bumbu.
Teddy.
No.
Captain Bumbu Death.
No.
Bumbu suicide.
No.
Captain Bumbu titty.
No.
Captain Bumbu lampshade.
Captain Bumbu Green.
No.
Captain Bumbu.
Black.
I was about to say that.
I was looking at this, not you.
Captain BB. For baby girl.
Baby girl. Captain Bumbu birthday.
I like black better.
I like black better too. No. Captain Bumbu. I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn it.
Alright, well, you guys let us know what your pirate names would be.
And what the best last name for Captain Bumbu would be.
Name me.
Name her. Mine is Gertrude Memphis.
You almost forgot it there, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. But who's gonna forget Gertrude Memphis? That's how I remembered it.
Listen, almost you, but not quite.
Oh, not quite, because it's very original.
Alright, well.
I am Gertrude Memphis, and this has been Spirits with Crime.
Alright, make sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram. Check out our post for the drink because it was really good and we've made too many jokes about it this whole episode for you not to try it. So check those out.
Good night, spooky people.
Good night.